Chapter 7. Sons. Amethyst orbs stung with tears as he gazed down at his youngest. The small child slept peacefully in his arms, unaware of the emotions the two parents were feeling. The two young parents had been terrified when they learned they were having children. They hadn't planned on having sex with each other, but the two of them had been terribly drunk on the night of Daisuke's 25th birthday party. They had not known that Daisuke and Taichi had spiked the punch, resulting in them not remembering what they had done until the next morning. The two had been horrified, especially since they've only been officially together for a little over a year. Oh, Tsubasa had tried to hide that she was pregnant, afraid of what he would think, but he had found out on one of their dates. In all honesty, Ken had been rightfully scared, not because Tsubasa was having his kids, but because he feared that he would be a horrible father. Ken knew it sounded illogical with how wonderful Jurao treated him. He was supportive, understanding, and never once gave the indication that he would ever harm him. But Ken couldn't help but think back to when he was a terrified child, a time when he was always afraid, a time when he was being beaten and belittled on a daily basis, a time when he would be rendered unconscious and bleeding until someone helped him, a time when he almost lost his life. And then there would be the time when he was the Kaiser and the horrible deeds he had done. It proved that he was capable of harming others, and that deeply terrified him. However, Tsubasa had known him since he was adopted by the Minamotos, and knew everything about him. She knew his fears, his uncertainties, and his past traumas, so it was easy for her to read him, allowing her to calm his fears. She truly believed that he would be nothing like his father. He was a better man than his father ever was. And now that the twins were born, Ken found himself truly believing her words. What should we name them? Ken glanced up to stare into tired, dark blue eyes. Ken thought for a moment. Ken and Tsubasa had discussed that they would each name one of the twins, and the one they named would have their last name. Ken gazed at the youngest. He smiled when he saw that he had woken up, tired amethyst eyes staring back at him. How about Kauji? Kauji Minamoto. Ken turned his gaze to his girlfriend, who was smiling in approval. It's perfect. Tsubasa turned her gaze to the eldest of the twins, who yawned after having his fill of milk. Koichi. She stroked the newborn's cheek with her finger. Koichi Kimura. Chapter 8. Loss. The room was deadly silent as the sounds of Ken's sorrowful sobs filled the room. None of them had expected that Kimura would be so cruel. They had all thought she was a sweet, caring woman. She had helped Ken with his confidence, nightmares, and doubts when they were younger, and the years that followed afterward. She had helped heal him. And now, she had just destroyed him. Takumi sighed as he held his brother. Ken had cared deeply for Kimura. It hadn't been that long ago since his brother came over to discuss his relationship with Kimura. He had been thinking about proposing, and wanted his advice. Takumi rubbed his brother's back as he sobbed. Ken did not deserve to be treated like this. He didn't deserve to return home with a sleeping Kuji in his arms, only to find a note by Kimura. The woman had the nerve to confess that she had cheated on him with another man. She was in love with this unknown guy. The woman even had the nerve to take Koichi with her, abandoning her ex-boyfriend and youngest son. The brunette had to restrain his anger as amber orbs landed on the dreaded note that laid in a crumpled heap on the coffee table. After giving Koichi to his wife, Takumi had read the letter in haste, shocked at what Ken had been trying to tell him, before pulling the younger into his arms so he could properly cry. Next to the slightly crumpled note was the little black box, lost and forgotten. "Why?" Ken asked. The vulnerable tone in his voice struck a deep chord within him. "Why did she leave?" Ken sounded broken. "I don't know," was all he could say, as he lifted his gaze to his wife, who had returned after putting Kuji down for a nap. He had a feeling June's brother would be here very soon. "What did I do?" Ken had asked, making the pain and anger boil, threatening to burst. "Did I do something wrong?" The brunette closed his eyes, keeping a rein on his temper. "You didn't do anything, Ken. Not at all."